Good morning, everyone. Today is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. We are here for the Administrative Matters meeting. I call this meeting to order, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good morning, everyone. I am Kristen Stevens, Chair Pro Tem of the Board of County Commissioners. Probably with you for my last meeting, maybe of the month, certainly of the month, but of the summer, because Commissioner Kafalis will be coming back. With me on the dais is my fellow Commissioner, Jody Shattuck McNally. We also have Lorinda Volker, our County Manager, with us today. We have Elizabeth Carter from the clerk's office helping us out today. And then from our office, we have Tom Clayton and Sarah Martin. So welcome, everyone. We'll get started. It appears that we don't have anybody here for public comment. We have no one signed up. Just want to offer that in the room. If there's anyone here for public comment, you're welcome to come up. You would have 3 minutes. All right, seeing no one, we will close public comment because Sarah has informed me that there is no one on the phone for public comment either. So we'll move to the next agenda item. That is approval of the minutes from last week. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, would you make that motion?
Certainly, Madam Chair Pro Tem, I move to approve the minutes for the week of June 18th, 2024.
Thank you. Commissioner, there's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on this item? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. We will move on to our upcoming schedule review, and we'll ask Sarah to help us out with that. Thank you.
This is the Commissioner's schedule for July 1st through the 5th, 2024. On Monday, July 1st, from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., there will be a work session regarding Transportation Master Plan and Safety Action Plan update in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 11 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be a work session regarding early childhood services in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., Commissioner Kafalis will attend the Larimer County Justice Center Court Security Meeting at 201 LaPorte Avenue in Fort Collins. From 1:30 p.m. to 2:30 p.m., there will be a work session with Leslie Ellis, Director of Community Planning, Infrastructure, and Resources in the Commissioner's conference room on the second floor. From 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m., Commissioners Stevens and Shattuck McNally will attend the 9/11 Memorial at Spring Park, 911 Memorial at Spring Park at the Poudre Fire Authority Station 3 and at 2000 Matthews Street in Fort Collins. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., there will be public improvement district hearing to consider creating 2 separate Larimer County public improvement districts for improving the roads in the area. And this will be in the hearing room on the first floor. On Tuesday, July 2nd, from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m., there will be an Administrative Matters meeting in the hearing room on the first floor. From 1:30 p.m. to 3 p.m., there will be administrative direction to county management in the Sprague Lake Conference Room on the second floor. From 3:30 p.m. to 5 p.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Rodeo Board meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it's at the Thomas M. McKee 4-H Youth and Community Building at 5280 Arena Circle in Loveland, or virtually via Zoom. On Wednesday, July 3rd, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., Commissioner Stevens may attend the Extension Advisory Committee meeting. It's a hybrid meeting. In person, it's at 1525 Blue Spruce Drive in Fort Collins, or virtually via Zoom. On Thursday, July 4th, from 8 a.m. to 10:30 a.m., Commissioner Shattuck McNally may attend the Loveland Fire Rescue Authority Pancake Breakfast at Fire Station 10 at 4301 Ronald Reagan Boulevard in Johnstown. And county offices will be closed in observance of the 4th of July holiday. And on Friday, July 5th, 2024, county offices will be closed in observance of the 4th of July holiday. That's it.
Thank you, Sarah. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, any additions or corrections to those times?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. I will be, I think it's on the night before July 3rd. The town of Berthoud has the Wagner Park event for the town of Berthoud. They do their celebration on July 3rd. So I will be there in the evening. I believe I'm heading over around 5 o'clock to probably 5 to 7 at Wagner Park in Berthoud. Thank you. And I think that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add. Thank you. So we will move on to our consent agenda, and I will read through the consent agenda and see if Commissioner Shattuck McNally and I want to pull anything. I do not, but we'll start with the first item on the consent agenda, which is agreements. The first agreement is a collaborative management memorandum of understanding, which runs through June 30th, 2025. This is a renewal of a memorandum of understanding, MOU, to receive incentive funds from the state of Colorado House Bill 1451 plan. The approximate total is $3.5 million, which represents allocations from state or federal funds for which the Larimer County Interagency Oversight Group has advisory capacity, including child welfare, core service allocations. So the next agreement is a construction services agreement. It's a 2024 PID overlay for Club Estates General Improvement District and Ridgewood Meadows Public Improvement District. The total dollar amount of that is roughly $584,000. We have 4 appointments on the consent agenda. We have recommended appointments to the Office on Aging Advisory Council for Jackie Penfold, Deborah Tellez, and Lori Wellman. Those terms would end June 30th, 2027. We have some additional appointments to the Office on Aging Council for Sarah O'Lear, Bill Gedge, Samantha Whiteside, 2 appointments that also end June 30th, 2027. And even more appointments to the Office on Aging Council. Mary Lisco, Mari Temmer, Colton Nader, and Deborah Kortner. They will have midterm appointments, and their terms would end on June 30th, 2026. And then finally, for appointments, we have a recommended midterm appointment to the Storm Mountain Public Improvement District for Connie Garrett. So thank you for all those people who've agreed to serve. We have 3 liquor licenses. We have a liquor license renewal for Colony Markets, doing business as Overland Foods in LaPorte. We have a liquor license renewal for Wapiti Park Corporation, doing business as Rocky Mountain Gateway Number 1, and that's a hotel and restaurant license. And a liquor license renewal for Rocky Mountain Gateway Number 2. Those are both in Estes Park, and this one's a fermented malt beverage off-premise liquor license. We have 2 miscellaneous items. They are both requests for approval to enter upon lands to do weed mitigation. And we have 2 policies that we are updating. We have a human resources recruitment policy. This policy was modified so jobs where pre-employment drug testing is required aligns with the legal compliance policy and Board of County Commissioners direction. And there's also some general cleanup in that item. And then the second policy is a human resources policy and procedure, legal compliance policy. The major changes were modifying the jobs where pre-employment drug testing was required to align with the Board of County Commissioners' directions, and also modifying the workplace violence policy to reflect the new state statute that prohibits concealed and open carry of weapons at 200 West Oak. We have 4 resolutions, and that is the last item on our agenda. The first one is findings and resolutions approving the Riverside, Colorado LLC rezoning. This is rezoning of the property from O-Open to RC Rural Commercial to allow uses consistent with the Rural Commercial Zoning District. The second finding and resolution is approving the Riverside, Colorado LLC Special Review and Appeals. This is a request to approve the findings and resolutions for the special review for the expansion of an existing campground. The third resolution is a resolution to opt out of requiring authorizations to operate for ambulance service providers on or after July 1st, 2024. And then the following resolution is a resolution to temporarily lower the membership and quorum of the Red Feather Lakes Planning Advisory Committee so they are able to do the business that they need to do. So those are the items on the consent agenda. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, would you like to remove anything from that?
No.
Okay. I do not want to remove anything either, and so I will ask you to make the motion, please.
Certainly. Madam Chair Pro Tem, I move to approve the consent agenda for June 25th, 2024.
Thank you. There's a motion on the table. Any further discussion on these items? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes 2-0. We have, do you have any guests today?
I plan to, but actually my guests will be coming next week. Thank you.
Okay, so we will look forward to having a guest next week. I do not have a guest either, although we're happy to see League of Women Voters here, taking notes for the public. So we have no discussion items requested on this agenda. So we are just flying through this agenda. We will move on to our county manager update.
Thank you, Commissioners. It is budget season, and so Matthew Bahanen in our budget office has visited with the Board of Health as they work through their budget process. That's a unique relationship. The Board of County Commissioners appoints the Board of Health then appoints the Public Health Director, and so we do pay special attention to make sure that those board members understand the budget process and where the funding comes from. Matthew did an outstanding job, I understand, and so we're continuing to develop that relationship with that board. Also met with Wellington Town Manager Patty Garcia for regular updates and coordination, and Coroner Stephen Hanks. We had a really great meeting about the budget and other issues facing the coroner's office, and so that was really enlightening last week. I also met with CSU Extension Front Range Regional Director Carrie Rollins. As we get closer to fair and work through things with our Extension office and opportunities to participate with Extension a little differently, it's nice having Carrie in that seat to be able to understand what the entire Front Range is doing and also how our Extension office fits into that. So that was a really great meeting. And then finally, early last week, we were all at the Investing in America press conference with USDA Secretary Tom Vilsack, U.S. Representative Yadira Caraveo, and Colorado Agriculture Commissioner Kate Greenberg. I know we talked a bit about it last week, but that was part of my week, and so I really enjoyed. I think maybe sometimes the time ahead of those meetings is great as you see people you see in different places and learn what they're doing in the energy sector and how they're really affecting our agricultural economy. It was really great to be reminded of some of those wonderful people in our community, in addition to seeing the dignitaries come and hearing them make their remarks. So that is what I have this week.
Great, thank you, Lorinda. Any questions for Lorinda? Well, thank you for letting us know what you're doing. You're always busy, so we appreciate your work. So we will move on to Commissioner activity reports. Commissioner Shattuck McNally, I'll let you start.
Thank you, Commissioner Stevens, and just want to just say to everyone, it's been a really busy time and around the county. There's been so many wonderful events, and it's been great to see so many folks out and about at the farmers market and other things. And I really feel the good vibe with people, how excited they've been, and just really lots of positive vibes. So I just wanted to say I really felt that this last week, and I just wanted to share about that. So last week we had I had the opportunity to go with our Department of Natural Resources to the Red Mountain Open Space Tour. There was something that we wanted to get through last year, but we didn't get to. But touring the open space and looking at some restoration projects and riparian area projects in that area, and seeing some of the wattles and some of the restoring some of the cuts and roads through there, and it's been already such a great success. Also, I think it's the Historic Corps, the group of volunteers that come and stay and do historic preservation on our Red Mountain Open Space, learning about the Goodwin Schoolhouse that they restored and seeing how they did that, and then the barn and the painting and looking at the historic elements of all of that, and learning about the alabaster mining there and some of the gypsum and the it's a LYKINS site. And, this is just such a interesting area because this is where we think some of the first inhabitants of North America 12,000 years ago was. So it's just stunning to see how much we preserved overall between our partnerships with Soapstone and all the buffering. That is about 55,000 preserved acres. And it's just fascinating. And the more I go, I learn more and more about that area all the time. It's a really great partnership between the City of Fort Collins, CSU, and Larimer County and others. for this, kind of legacy piece of land conservation as a liaison for the Open Lands Advisory Board, which I just love and feel so honored and humbled to be a part of all of that. It is just stunning to think about who made those decisions and all the work to put in to preserve that open space. I did get to stop by and see some of the baby bison and the bison, but they were way across the other side of the rodeo, but we got pretty close. But they certainly were enjoying the green brushes that they were out, but they seemed pretty happy. And so lots of babies to see, and it was just really thrilling. And I thank the DNR for their time and getting us out to share with all of that. It was I appreciate their time. We had lots of questions. I did go by CML on a little bit on Juneteenth, and then also on the 20th. Our Mark Fathinger from our broadband, our Chief Information Officer, presented along with City of Timnath, Town of Timnath. The city manager came, Fort Collins Connection, and Pulse was there, and we all talked about our partnership with the NOCO Fiber Alliance and how we're getting broadband out into our underserved areas, and how this unique partnership of getting that middle mile through unincorporated parts of county, and then Timnath is now partnered with City of Loveland and Pulse to provide that service, and how that's been a fantastic partnership. Lots of questions from those around from around the state, and really well received, and our Mark and Brianna and all of them did such a fantastic job sharing. It was lots of great questions. And then I packed, Kids Pack had a pack for people there at CML to come and pack a bag and learn more about the programs we do there. And I got to meet and talk with members from our town of Wellington and Loveland and Berthoud and Estes Park, lots of great partnerships there, and also some of our colleagues who sit on City County in Denver and City County of Broomfield. Their commission, it's their sit for county and city, so it's kind of interesting they were boasting they get to go to all the conferences, twice as many as we are, and I said, well, depends how you look at that. That's a good thing and maybe a bad thing. So, but it was great, and then I attended the Colorado Resilience Planning Guide with part of the Colorado Forest Health Council. We're planning a resilience planning guide for smaller communities and counties from around the state to help them with how they can do mitigation work on post and pre-fire planning books. And so this consultant is helping getting feedback from stakeholders, and I participated in that. And then we had our commissioners and counties acting together, a county revenue subcommittee conversation, and then we also had my NACO Rural Action Caucus. I sit on the Rural Action Caucus. We're basically getting ready for NACO annual conference next month, it's next month. And then after that, I had our NACO. I sit on the steering committee for environment, energy, and land use, and we went through all of our resolutions that there will be voted on, and any changes or tweaks to some of those conferences, those are resolutions. So we had a lot of talks about that. And then I also had my county commissioners acting together wildfire discussion meeting, talking about what might be happening at our conference for CCAT in August. So. And then Commissioner Stevens, I went to the Fort Collins Chamber of Commerce State of the Business. Thank you to the Chamber for inviting us. It was really well attended. Got to meet with lots of small business owners, talk with some chamber members. Our county was well represented from folks from the Workforce and Economic and Workforce Development Group, and talked with the general manager of Anheuser-Busch and had a great conversation with them. So it was really a great conversation. And then I ran over to the west side was on the east side of Fort Collins, and went all the way to the west side of Fort Collins for the Coalition for Poudre Watershed fundraiser called Take Me to the River. And it was really a celebration of all the work that they've done year round. And they gave some awards to some volunteers and some folks. And it was really a great event, and really great to talk with folks that came all the way from Glacier View and Crystal Lakes, and people that are very involved with water flood mitigation. And who sit on some of the boards, but they're very interested in the work they're doing because it's all tied, the watershed health and the wildfire mitigation and these community protection welfare plans and the work that they're doing together, be ambassadors, and they're very connected with RANA for emergency services in the sheriff's office, and they rave and rave about the work that the county is doing with RANA doing home ignition evaluations and how they're training them up there to help her with those. There's so many asks for people who want to have this done in our mountain areas, and it's a very successful program. And Commissioner Stevens, that's one of those programs that we voted on to approve that FTO and the funding for that, and it's been extremely, and I may be biased, but I think it's been a very extremely successful program, and so I just wanted to share that with you because it was lots to hear. It was great to hear so much great feedback from folks. On Friday, I'll just share really briefly. I belong to a group, and they had a chance for women electeds to meet in Denver. I had an opportunity to meet with and talk just briefly with Senator Gillibrand, Senator Klobuchar, Senator Tammy Baldwin, and Representative Slotkin, and it was just kind of, and Secretary of State Jenna Griswold, and it was just, and Congressman Yadira Caraveo, and it was just kind of fun for me to talk to these women and hear about them and hear about some of their districts and the challenges and some of the work that they want to do and some of the work they have done, and I know sometimes for some of us who are, serving on a daily basis, it's nice to hear and get kind of those inspiring speeches and kind of get us hearing from other women who serve in elective office is really a great thing, and I appreciate that. Went to the wildfire education series in West Loveland on Saturday. Fire Station 7 for Loveland Rescue Fire Authority. County has partnered with that, our Office of Emergency Management, and our emergency services. Raina was there, so I got to thank her. Took a cool group picture there. And one thing I want to share is on that website for on the county, Raina's showing the guides, and our Camille was there from Office of Emergency Management. They had a grad student volunteer to help do this. They have a Poudre Canyon resource guide that is connected to our website, and that this volunteer put all together. It is really interesting, and they were showing that and helping people guide that. The fire department was helping folks with getting address, big blue address. So in the rural areas, and I live in an unincorporated rural area, and we have to. It's sometimes hard to find our house numbers, so we have to have those house numbers out on the street so people can find our homes. And so they were helping some older adults make their own blue signs to help put out to help identify their homes. And then I wanted to just share. It was very striking to me, and if you go on my social media, especially Instagram, they were showing how much it takes to outfit a firefighter in their gear. And the coats and the helmets and all that, it's almost $40,000 for one firefighter. So I just wanted to kind of tell that for folks who maybe don't understand the cost of public safety. We want to keep our first responders, especially our firefighters who literally run into a fire, into danger, how much that costs to keep them safe, to come to rescue us and keep us safe. And so there's some photos of that, but I just wanted to share that because it was very striking to hear about that. And then I ran over to do story time at the farmers market, which is fantastic. Lots of fun. Love walking around the farmers market. Great jazz music. Commissioner Stevens, I know you like jazz. This high school jazz group was just absolutely phenomenal. And then I went to Juneteenth in Loveland with Heart and Soul. We were a sponsor for Larimer County sponsors that event. And I just was brought to tears. I forgot her name, but she's from Fort Collins, saying "Lift Every Voice," and it was just amazing how well she sang that. And there was great speeches and discussions and musical performances and dancing and great vendors. There was I bought some Christmas presents for all those great vendors, and it was really a fun event. And and then I went a little bit of hiking on Sunday and just got out a little bit to our beautiful landscapes. And then yesterday, we are still working with the coroner's office on the suicide fatality review board, talking about kind of looking at completed suicides and kind of some of those numbers, and working with the coroner to kind of collaborate all this information so we can share it. And this was something that I learned last night, and that's what I'm going to end on, Commissioner Stevens. there was a lot happening last week, but I think it's all really important to share with the public. But we just got these numbers released, and I'm super excited. And I hope every county gets to have these kind of successes, because this is something for the whole state to aspire to. Is for the last 4 years, we are the only county in Colorado that has seen sustained decreases in suicide for the last 4 years, and we've seen a decrease of 25.6%, which is stunning. And this kind of, I'm not saying it's causational, but it kind of overlaps with our behavioral health sales tax, which the voters are so thankful they have approved. But we have such great partnerships. This is a celebration for all those agencies that our impact grants have funded, and for our partners with Summit Stone Health Partners, the Alliance for Suicide Prevention, our health department, the veterans groups. There's so many folks that have all worked in partnership and collaboration with the county and our municipalities and all these organizations. This is something we should all be very proud of and celebrating, because this is a tremendous, tremendous number to celebrate. And this is something that just came out from the state. And I just want to share that news with everybody, because it's one is too many, but to see this kind of decrease is something we should all be thankful for. So thank you, Madam Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Commissioner. Yeah, thank you for sharing that news. That is certainly heartening as we look to, I think that we do, I think you're absolutely right. We have a lot of programs in place that helped us lower those numbers. Obviously, none of us are happy until those numbers go to zero, but certainly we are definitely moving in the right direction, and I hope our peers across the state can share in some of that, the lowering of numbers. And I think that, devoting more services to mental health and addiction help will help lower everyone's numbers. So I think there's a clear message there. On Wednesday, of course, we celebrated Juneteenth, and that's a county holiday now. So hope everybody had a restful day and spent some time learning about Juneteenth, which is a very interesting holiday. I had a virtual listening session on Wednesday that went well. There weren't a lot of attendees, but we did have some good conversations online about some of the work that we're doing. And on Wednesday, also had the North Front Range MPO finance meeting, and we had a clean audit, which is the most you can hope for in an audit. It is always fun to meet with CPAs, and they're very careful about their language. I mean, but there again, thank you to Suzette Millette, who's served as the executive director for that organization. I think it's great for her to have a clean audit as she leaves. As she leaves her ED position, she's also sometimes served as the treasurer and accountant for that organization as well. So she's done double duty. So to have a clean audit when she didn't always have staff to be able to help her with that is pretty remarkable. As Commissioner Shattuck McNally said, we attended the State of Business conversation at the Anheuser-Busch Beer Garden with many colleagues and businesses from across the city. I mean, the general idea is that the state of business is really good. Tyler Marr spoke from the city of Fort Collins about some of the work that they're doing to help businesses and hopefully help people get through the development process, because I think that some regulations were definitely one of the themes of, how could we help business be successful and stay nimble, and that, I think that's something we always look at, is how easy it is to go through our development processes. So, but it was a good group. A lot of people spoke, and I think that people are cautiously optimistic about the future. On Friday, I attended in person the Middle Income Housing Authority meeting. We are looking to increase the budget for next year to $1 million. We have almost no budget, so our ability is bonding ability to help some of these projects move forward that are middle income projects. These are projects for workforce housing, for people who are not necessarily low income. It's not affordable housing. It's housing for people. Think about nurses and people starting out their careers. So We have several projects in the queue. The problem is with high interest rates and no gap funding, these projects have trouble going through. So really looking at ways to help these projects be successful, find that gap funding. And to that end, we are hiring a group, or likely hiring a group. We haven't drawn up the paperwork yet, but there's a group called Castlewood Partners who've been really successful in moving these middle-income housing projects forward. And they think that they can help they can advise the projects that we have in the queue around what kind of gap funding that they would qualify for. Some might be Prop 123 funding. There's other kinds of funding, including foundation funding, and so, but they are really bullish about the fact that they can get some of these projects off the ground, which is exciting. One of the problems is that the Middle Income Housing Authority would own that property. I mean, that like a housing authority would, and so that could be some of the sticking points in people not moving forward with these projects. We're not sure if we would change legislation to have a private-public partnership ownership model to be continued. But anyway, there are several projects across the state that are in the queue. There's some in our area that are possibilities. But I think really getting these off the ground, because the funding is very different than traditional affordable housing. So they can't use the same financing tools that traditional affordable housing uses. So it's complicated, but we're hopeful that we can do this and have a model for, honestly, the rest of the country to be able to follow in building more housing for workforce. Ski areas and mountain resort communities have already been successful at doing some of this. So we think it can be replicated in other areas of the state. And then one thing I just wanted to mention is that one of our colleagues on the MIHA board, Keo Frazier, passed away. She was a remarkable woman, did a lot of work for not only affordable housing, but was a great leader in Denver. And so just wanted to mention that we appreciated her work. Honestly, until her death, pretty much kept working because she believed in affordable housing, and so we just wanted to honor her here. And then I also attended for a short time the Heart and Soul Juneteenth celebration in Loveland. I thought it was great. Thank you to Heart and Soul, a great nonprofit that really not only does celebrations but educates people about important cultural and holidays that we have in our communities, and really creates a celebration around that and a learning opportunity for so many people. So wonderful. And then just wanted to mention the last event that I attended on the weekend was Church World Services is now located in Fort Collins, and Church World Services is resettling Afghan and Ukrainian refugees. So they are housed in right now, at least in the Opera Galleria. They are looking for more permanent office space, but that's the work that they're doing in the community. They haven't been in the community before. They've been in other communities, I believe Greeley, but now they will be working also in Fort Collins. So they're always looking for volunteers. Like I said, they're headquartered in the Opera Galleria, and doing really great work. They had Ukrainian dancers. They had City of Fort Collins did a proclamation for them, and so we're really happy that they're here. Want to welcome refugees and asylum seekers that they're resettling, and also we're hoping to make some kind of connections with our workforce development as people look for employment in our community. So I think that they'll be a great partner to us in many ways, and we welcome them to our community. And that is it for me. So with that, there is no other business. There are no legal matters or other business, and it is 9:34, and we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.